take one slow breath right now, just as you are. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let your jaw loosen. And without fixing a single thing, notice one small support in this moment. The steadiness of the floor, the light in the room, the way air finds you again and again. That noticing is not insignificant. It is a doorway. Gratitude isn't something you do after life finally becomes easy. Gratitude is the gate you can walk through while life is still messy. It's the gentle shift from I'm bracing to I'm receiving. And the more you receive, the more you recognize the quiet blessings that have been trying to reach you. So let's give you the gateway immediately, in a way that's real, not performative, not forced. Look for one ordinary thing you usually overlook: a cup, a pillow, a blanket, your phone, a window, even the chair holding you. Choose one and softly say, "Thank you." Not because your whole life is perfect, but because that one thing is supporting you right now. Now notice what happens inside you. Maybe nothing dramatic, maybe a small softening, maybe just a tiny exhale. That's enough. You're allowed to start with a whisper of gratitude. A whisper still opens the gate. When people hear miracles and blessings, the mind often expects fireworks, a sudden breakthrough, a big sign, a dramatic reversal. And sometimes life does surprise you that way. But most miracles begin quietly. They begin as a shift in your inner posture, less clenched, more open, less scanning for what's missing, more aware of what is already here. Gratitude is the gateway to that openness. Because in the moment you appreciate something real, something you can actually feel, you stop arguing with the present. You stop saying nothing is working, and you start saying something is here, and something is here is a completely different frequency than I'm alone with everything. One closes the hands, the other opens them. And you deserve open hands. You deserve a life that can reach you. If gratitude has felt hard, I want you to hear this with tenderness. That doesn't make you ungrateful. It often means you've been tired. It often means you've been carrying too much for too long. When your nervous system has learned to survive, it scans for problems so it can protect you. That is not a flaw. That is a pattern. And patterns can change. Think of a sunflower turning toward the light. It doesn't shame itself for needing warmth. It doesn't demand proof that the sun will show up. It simply leans toward what nourishes it. Your heart is like that. When it senses safety, it opens. When it senses support, it softens. Gratitude is one of the simplest ways to offer your heart a little safety right now. Here's a way to practice gratitude that doesn't feel like pretending. Place a hand over your heart or on your belly or wherever your body relaxes when you touch it, and ask yourself gently, what supports me today? Not what fixes everything, just what supports me. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's a bed. Maybe it's a friend you can message. Maybe it's the fact that you found a few quiet minutes. Maybe it's your own strength, the way you keep showing up. Let one answer come. Then say, "Thank you for supporting me." And breathe once more. That's the gate. Because gratitude doesn't only change your mood, it changes what you notice, and what you notice shapes your reality more than you realize. When you notice support, you begin to expect support. When you expect support, you become less guarded. When you become less guarded, you make room. And in that room, life can place gifts you couldn't hold before. Imagine trying to receive something with fists clenched. Even a blessing can't be placed in tight hands, not because you're being punished, simply because there is no space. Gratitude is the unclenching. It's the exhale. Now, let's bring this into the real moments of your life. Perhaps you've been lying in bed at night, scrolling, feeling that familiar heaviness. You've tried so hard. You've done the work, and still there's an ache that says, "Is something wrong with me?" In that moment, the mind collects evidence for hopelessness. It tightens the chest. It speeds up the thoughts. What if, right there, you put your hand on your chest and whispered, "Thank you for carrying me today." Not as a trick, as kindness. And maybe the heaviness doesn't disappear, but it loosens its grip for a moment. That loosening is a miracle seed. It's the beginning of relief. Or maybe you know the moment when you're in a conversation and the old pattern rises. Defensiveness, sharpness, shutting down. You might think, "Here we go again." And then something tiny happens. Someone pauses. Someone breathes. Someone chooses a softer sentence. Later you realize, we didn't spiral as far as we used to. That is a blessing. Gratitude teaches you to recognize these small shifts so they can grow instead of being ignored. Or perhaps you've been asking for guidance and you feel like you're speaking into silence. No clear sign, no loud answer. And then, on an ordinary day, you hear a phrase at the exact moment you needed it. You open a book to the right page. You notice a simple coincidence that feels like a gentle wink. Gratitude doesn't force signs to appear. It tunes your attention so you can recognize the guidance that was already arriving quietly. This is why gratitude is a gateway. It aligns you with receiving. It softens the inner resistance that blocks the flow of help, love, insight, and opportunity. And here's something important. Gratitude is not a demand to be cheerful while you're hurting. True gratitude has room for tears. It can say, "This is hard," and also say, "Something is helping me." Both can be true. You're allowed to be honest and still open. Sometimes the most powerful gratitude is simple. Thank you for this breath. Because the breath is always here, bringing you back to life. Now, if you want gratitude to support manifestation and spiritual alignment, keep it spacious. Don't turn it into a rigid checklist. Don't use it as a way to shame yourself. Let it be a relationship. You can practice what I call gratitude in advance, and it isn't pretending. It's trust. It sounds like this. Thank you for the guidance that is unfolding. Thank you for the opportunities I'm learning to recognize. Thank you for the right connections finding their way to me. Notice how this doesn't demand a specific outcome. It doesn't grip, it allows. Because sometimes what your mind wants is only a small version of what you're actually ready for, and you are allowed to receive more than the small version. Let's make this very practical with 3 gentle gateways you can use anytime, especially when you feel stuck. First, gratitude for your body. Your body has been with you through every season. Even if you've criticized it, even if you've felt frustrated, it has kept showing up for you. Choose one part of your body and thank it. Thank you, eyes, for seeing. Thank you, hands, for holding. Thank you, legs, for carrying me. Thank you, heart, for beating. This shifts your inner voice from judgment to companionship. And when you become your own companion, your energy changes. That is a blessing. Second, gratitude for your environment. Not the whole world, just what's here. The roof, the warmth, the chair, the quiet, the music, the sunlight. The fact that you have a moment to listen and breathe. You are not ignoring other struggles by appreciating your support. You are strengthening your foundation so you can live with more clarity and kindness. Third, gratitude for your growth. This is powerful when life feels unfinished. You can say, "Thank you for the courage I'm practicing. Thank you for the awareness I'm building. Thank you for the way I'm learning to choose myself." Even if you don't feel there yet, you can honor the movement. You can be grateful that you are not giving up on your own healing. Now let me share a small, ordinary story that shows how the gate opens. Someone used to wake up with anxiety before their feet even touched the floor. The mind would race ahead, listing everything that could go wrong. One morning, instead of wrestling with the whole day, they tried one sentence: "Thank you for waking up." That was all. And something softened just enough for a second breath. Over time, those seconds became space, and in that space, they began making different choices: slower mornings, kinder thoughts, clearer boundaries. The anxiety didn't vanish like magic, but it stopped running the whole house. And that change created room for new solutions, new support, new steadiness to arrive. Here's another one. Someone was trying to manifest love, but every day felt like proof that love wasn't coming. They checked messages, checked signs, checked timing. They were digging up the seed again and again. Eventually, they began practicing gratitude differently. They thanked their own heart for wanting love. They thanked the lessons that had strengthened their discernment. They thanked the quiet evenings that were teaching them to enjoy their own company. And as they softened, they became more available, more present, more open, more relaxed in their own skin. They stopped chasing, and they started receiving. And the right connection had space to meet them, because the gate wasn't blocked by fear anymore. And one more, because you may recognize this deeply. Someone felt invisible at work and in relationships, like they had to earn every ounce of attention. They began practicing gratitude in small moments, not to be positive, but to be connected. They thanked the person who held the door. They appreciated the warmth of their coffee. They noticed the way the sky looked between buildings. They began speaking with a little more gentleness, meeting people's eyes, offering sincere appreciation. And the world mirrored it. People warmed. Conversations opened. Opportunities appeared through simple human connection. Nothing was forced. The gate opened and life stepped closer. This is how blessings multiply, through recognition. And there's another moment where gratitude becomes a doorway, especially in a world that likes to compare. Maybe you've watched someone else receive what you've been longing for: love, recognition, freedom, an open door, and something in you tightens. You might smile on the outside and feel a sting on the inside. That sting doesn't make you bad. It makes you human. In that moment, gratitude can gently redirect your energy without denying your desire. You can place a hand on your heart and say, "Thank you for showing me what's possible." You can bless them, not because you're settling for less, but because you're telling life. There is enough goodness in this world, and I am included in it. And here's the quiet miracle. Your body relaxes. Your energy stops pushing against reality. You become more receptive to your own timing, your own path, your own unfolding. Now, if there's a part of you that says, "But what about the big things I'm still waiting for?" I want you to stay close to this truth. Gratitude is not the finish line. Gratitude is the path. It doesn't require you to pretend you're satisfied with less than your soul desires. It simply requires you to stop making yourself wrong while you're on the way. You can desire more and still appreciate what is here. You can be in progress and still be worthy. You can be healing and still be blessed. Sometimes a blessing is a protective detour, a closed door, a delay that saves you from something misaligned, a no that protects your peace. And if you only count blessings when you get exactly what you asked for, you may miss the love that was guiding you away from what would have harmed you. Gratitude helps you see the hidden kindness in life's timing. If you're sensitive, if you feel energies, moods, undercurrents, gratitude can be grounding. Sensitivity often makes you aware of what needs fixing, what feels heavy, what feels unfair. Your sensitivity is a gift, and it needs rest. Gratitude gives it rest. It says, "Yes, I feel a lot, and I can also feel support." It brings you back to the steady place inside you where your intuition lives. Imagine your heart as a lake. Worry tosses stones into it all day, making the surface restless. Gratitude lets the water settle. And when it settles, you can see, you can hear, you can sense your next step. That clarity is a blessing. So here is a simple practice you can carry into your day without making it complicated. In the morning, before you reach for your phone, name one thing you appreciate about who you are, not what you achieved, who you are. I appreciate my resilience. I appreciate my honesty. I appreciate my softness. If that feels too big, start here. I appreciate that I'm trying. Then name one thing you appreciate about your life, even if it's small. I appreciate this warm drink. I appreciate this quiet minute. I appreciate that I have a place to rest. Then name one thing you appreciate about what's unfolding, without forcing details. I appreciate that guidance is available to me. I appreciate that new possibilities exist. I appreciate that I'm being led toward what matches my growth. 3 gentle appreciations. And if you forget, you forgive yourself. You begin again. You're allowed to be human. Now your mind may resist at first. It may say, this is silly, or this won't change anything. Meet that voice with compassion. That voice has been trying to keep you safe. You can say, I hear you, thank you for protecting me, and then return to something simple, your breath, your body, the present support beneath you. Gratitude doesn't need to win an argument, it only needs to be practiced. And over time, you build a new inner pathway. Your attention becomes less trained on threat and more trained on support. Your body becomes less braced and more available. Your energy becomes less like a clenched fist and more like an open palm. And life can reach an open palm. I want you to try one more thing right now, because it brings this teaching into your nervous system, not just your mind. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, let your shoulders drop again. Now think of one area where you felt stuck, just one, and ask, what is already working here, even a little? Maybe you're learning boundaries. Maybe you're becoming clearer. Maybe you're noticing turns you used to ignore. Maybe you're resting more. Maybe you're speaking your truth more often. Maybe you're choosing yourself in small ways. Let that be enough for a moment, and say quietly, thank you, I see my progress. That recognition builds momentum. It tells your subconscious change is happening. It tells your spirit, I'm listening, and it tells life, I'm ready to receive more. Now, if you want a few gentle words to keep the gate open, let these be yours, spoken in the language that feels natural to you. I am open to noticing blessings. I am willing to receive support. I don't have to force what is meant for me. I can allow goodness to find me. I am worthy of miracles in ordinary moments. I am grateful for what is here. I am grateful for what is unfolding. If any of those feel too big, soften them. I'm learning to be open. I'm practicing receiving. I'm willing. That is powerful. That is real. And as you move through your day, bless what is here. Bless your bed when you lie down. Bless your food before you eat. Bless your body when it wakes. Bless your efforts, even imperfect ones. Bless your past self for surviving. Bless your future self for becoming. Sometimes the most profound gratitude is simply this: thank you for another chance. Because every moment is a chance to turn your heart toward life again. Tonight, as you settle, name 3 small supports from your day: a sip of water, a kind word, a task you finished, a moment you rested, a breath you remembered to take. If the day was hard, you can even be grateful that it is ending. You can be grateful that you are allowed to begin again. And in the coming days, you may notice subtle shifts. You may feel calmer where you used to feel tight. You may recognize opportunities you didn't see before. You may sense guidance with more ease. You may feel more connected to yourself. These are blessings too, quiet, steady, real. Gratitude is the gateway to miracles and blessings because it returns you to the truth. You are not separate from life. You are in a relationship with it. And the relationship deepens when you acknowledge what is already being given. So take one last slow breath. Let your chest soften and offer this simple blessing like a warm light you place into your own hands. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for my life. Thank you for the love that is finding me. Thank you for the guidance that is unfolding. Thank you for the miracles, seen and unseen. Go gently now, not rushing, not proving, just living with your heart a little more open than it was before. And if you ever forget, you can return to one small thank you, because that is the way in, and you are always allowed to begin again.